everyone, Forever Lego Studios here. Welcome back to another episode of Building Kamino in Lego, episode 21. Guys, I'm super excited to bring this week's episode to you all. Now, of course, before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to our series sponsor, Minifigs4U. Now, if you guys remember, David sent me a bunch of awesome Kamino-style clone troopers that will be used in this mock, and later in this video, you'll see that he sent me some more awesome clones. And guys, I'm super happy about them. I really love how they look, and yeah, I can't wait to see what you all think of that. In this week's episode, I do want to quickly point out that it's coming out a day late. I apologize for that. After I started building, I really just continued building and didn't want to stop. And so I just decided, you know what? I'm going to wait a day. That way I can actually finish what I was building. And guys, I'm actually really loving how it's looking. Like, I continued working on the actual platform that the, center or the interior is going to be. And I finished off the ring, so the whole, edges and stuff like that, that's pretty much done. I also started planning out where stuff was going to go, including the pillars that hold the thing up, of course, as well as, of course, I did get some more water done. And yeah, I'm actually really excited for this week's episode. I did do something different this week where I actually showed you some kind of step-by-step things and clips and stuff like that, where I opened up a package, showed me opening for the clones that David sent me, as well as kind of just a couple clips that go throughout the week. And I want to see what you guys think of this. A couple of you asked or recommended me doing this, so I'm excited to see what you guys think of that. And yeah, let's get right on to today's episode right now. Okay guys, so starting this week's episode of Building Kamino off, I have a really awesome package to show off. And as you guys know, that David, or Minifigs4U, his company, is currently sponsoring the Building Kamino series. Well guys, as you guys know, I got a package a while back of those awesome Phase 2 Kamino-styled clones to use in the mock. And guys, we today have another package from him. I'm actually really excited for it. David told me that he sent me another package. I pretty much know what's inside, so let's get opening right now. And guys, there it is. He sent me some 3 awesome clone troopers. You've got ARC Trooper Phase 2 5s, Commander Cody, and Captain Rex. Now, these guys look fantastic in my opinion. As you guys know, I do have Clone Army Customs variant of Captain Rex and Cody. But honestly, I'm not going to compare them to, because I don't want to do anything on that regard. But guys, these figures just look fantastic. Again, the detail on these guys do look amazing. And yeah, I can't thank David enough for, again, sponsoring the series. Now, of course, you guys may think, well, these guys are Phase 2 clones. The Battle of Kamino is going to be Phase 1. Same scenario with the Phase 2 Kamino-style clones. Basically, what I'll be doing is kind of having them in their own, I guess, area. That way it kind of doesn't throw out the monotony and stuff like that. And honestly, I'm going to make it work. Of course, these clones will be making an appearance in the actual episode. Well, not episode, but they will be making an appearance in the mock. And guys, again, I can't thank David enough. These guys look amazing. So with that being said, let's get on to today's episode. Okay guys, so jumping into today's episode, basically I have some parts to show you. I actually just got this order in the mail today. And yeah, I'm actually really excited about this order because of the fact that it's got a lot of useful parts that I'm going to be using for the actual Capitol building, and kind of just finishing off a few things throughout Kamino. Now, with that being said, the reason why I'm actually showing this is I'm actually trying something different, and I want to see what you guys think actually, because a couple of you guys asked if I could actually show kind of the process of building and overall building stuff on camera instead of kind of just showing after the events have happened. So I'm actually going to try this, see how it works, and see what you guys think of it. But I do want to point this out. I do have some awesome parts. Again, a lot of these wedge plates are going to be used for finishing the underlayers of the actual Capitol, and then kind of just rounding it off, especially these pieces right here. They're going to be used for that. The black parts and stuff like that, that's actually going to be used for something else, not Kamino particularly, but the main parts right here are actually going to be quite useful, as well as I did order some more water studs. So I'm actually really excited to start working on that. I'm not sure if there's going to be a time lapse because of the fact that the only thing I can really time lapse is that water stud. So we'll see in just a moment. But yeah, let's get building right now. And guys, this is what Kamino is looking like. Now, after all those clips and a few time slots, basically I was able to get some more work of Kamino done. Now, last time you kind of saw this area, I was actually, I had that off that I mentioned, and I was working on the underside, as you guys can see, kind of just underneath with those rings around the pillars. And basically, the whole idea, the reason why I took it off was, of course, I was finishing this ring, or at least the ridges around it. That way, give it a nice finished look. And yeah, this is done. Like I mentioned in last week's episode, I kind of had a little bit more area to kind of fill out right here, and basically I finished that whole thing. I started kind of making this kind of snot style border and stuff like that, because I really wanted to incorporate some more snot work, because of course some of these platforms and stuff like that, like over there, are of course snot, and so I wanted to do something that kind of incorporated that, because a lot of the inside of course is going to be tiled, so I wanted to at least have this nice border that kind of just adds on to the monotony of the actual build. So I'm actually really happy with how this is coming along. The main issue I came with on that side is because of the fact that around out of just standard 2x light bluish gray plates, I completely ran out of them, which is really odd. I was not expecting that. I do have all the tiles to kind of just finish it off, but yeah, it kind of stinks, because I was like, I was really close to finishing this one. I had this done, that, the main brick stuff done, and then I realized, snap, I can't continue. So I did make an order, and I should have the plates, I should say, to finish that off in the next week or so. So that will be done soon. I'm really excited to, just overall look at this. You got the nice black border around. This is what I meant a couple weeks ago, that it was going to be kind of you had these flat borders, and then you had this kind of rounded off turn. Now, of course, this does still kind of look like a square, because this kind of has this flat edge, and the reason for that is because honestly I tried looking at just continuing these stuff like that, just continuing rounding it. It just did not look appealing in my opinion. It just, I don't know, it kind of felt weird, and honestly I feel like this is quite nice, especially since this is only kind of half of the actual, I guess, interior Capitol building. Now I do want to quickly point out that I have stated this before, that this mock of course isn't technically minifig scale, because of the fact that these pillars would be much more higher. This of course would be much more larger, because of the fact that a Republic ship can kind of just fit right in between them. So it's slightly sized down, but what I try to do is, of course, make everything, at least in the interior, try to get it to scale, and at least enough to the point where, it looks nice, it doesn't look out of scale, and doesn't, stand out. Now, of course, you guys do recognize these clone troopers right here from a minute ago. You guys saw that kind of little stand and stuff like that. These are the figures that David has sent me: Commander Cody, Captain Rex, and ARC Trooper 5s. Now, these guys are all in Phase 2 armor, so for those who are curious, this is going to be the same scenario that, of course, those guys are with the Kamino-style clones right there. Basically, the idea is to kind of have them in their own separate area, to kind of have their own little battle or something like that. That way, it doesn't stand out next to the standard Phase 1 clones. And the reason why I do want to use these guys is because these figures look amazing in my opinion. Now, of course, there will be a separate review later this week, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave a... well, stay tuned for that. Now, as you guys did see right here, there's another custom clone right here. This is actually something I bought from Republic Brix over on Instagram. He actually does these auction stuff like that, and I popped in on him, and actually really, he was selling this one, and I was like, you know what, I think it'd be really cool. This is, of course, Phase 1 Clone Trooper 5s. in the stylish of, like, you know, the standard Phase 1 clone trooper. So it looks really nice, especially compared to the other ones. I really want to use them, but I, of course, do have the ARC Trooper 5, so I haven't really decided which one I want to use. Now, for those of you curious, why did I buy a second 5s? For one, 5s is my favorite clone trooper, so having, you know, the ARC Trooper variants and, of course, having the Phase 1, it's just really cool because, you know, I have, like, all variants of, you know, my favorite clone. With that being said, this mock is coming along really nicely, in my opinion. Again, this is kind of what I spent a lot of my time doing, other than, you know, stacking some more studs. Was, of course, getting this kind of just finished and rounded off and stuff like that. And as you can see, I did start mapping out where these pillars are going to be. My basic idea around that was so the gunship can technically, of course, fly out of it with no problem, because the wingspan is pretty long, or at least wide in this scenario. So it is actually wide enough to fit the gunship through, so technically it can fit through that. So I did start working on them. I of course do have the actual pillar or column design on Stud.io, so I'll start working on that hopefully the next week or so, you know, you can just continue on work there. This little area I kind of just put together a couple, like an hour ago, kind of just starting the doorway and trying to figure out techniques how to do it. Now, of course, you can see a battery box right there, and this is probably going to be the last topic I talk about, but of course there are going to be lights throughout this. As you guys know, I am a fan of using lights in these mocks, and of course they are by Brick stuff, and of course I wanted to use some and incorporate them in the actual capital. So I do have the battery box. It's going to be kind of just powering lights throughout this whole mock. What's really funny is actually I didn't even have to move these bricks. This kind of just fit right in, so it's quite funny in my opinion. But yeah, I'm actually excited to start working on the lights in here, because I really want this mock to be, you know, quite shiny and, of course, you know, fully lit up. But yeah, this was this week's progress. Of course, the water you guys saw in the time lapse, and yeah, I think that's going to be it. Hope you all enjoyed, and let's get out to that outro. Okay, guys, so that was this week's episode. I really hope you all enjoyed. If you did, definitely show some love by smashing that like button. And I want to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions on the whole, you know, showing little clips and stuff like that. Of course, I'm still learning at that, so we got to try and get better over time and kind of do it more often than not. So really hope you all enjoy. Let me know, again, in what you guys think of that, as well as what you guys think are of the capital / interior and stuff like that, as well as what do you guys think of those awesome clones that David has sent me, because those guys look fantastic. I can't wait to see what they look like in the final product. With that being said, of course, with the final product coming up soon, because that really is the last thing, that last big thing. Now, of course, you guys could say, oh, well, you still have all that water to fill in. Don't worry. I've actually, now I'm really hopeful on this regard. I just got a bunch of studs purchased. Like, I'm talking a ton of studs. I bought like 20,000 from my friend Noah, and a lot more from my another friend. So with that being said, hopefully, again, hopefully it is enough to finish the rest of the water. Again, this is a lot of water studs. On top of that, I do have a friend hopefully coming down soon, so when those studs arrive, I can kind of just, we can kind of just knock it out of the park, and that way the water can be done. With that being said, I also ordered a couple trans tiles and stuff like that. That way I can kind of start making waves and stuff. That way, because I know you guys have been really wanting to see water, you know, not just flat like this. So I did order some parts. That way I can start, you know, prototyping, or at least, you know, making waves and stuff like that. That way it looks a bit more livelier, I guess you could say. So yeah, I'm really excited for the future of this mock. Again, the goal was to get it done by mid-February or end of February. Don't think it's going to make it mid-February. Hopefully I can get it done by the end, or, you know, at least middle of March. That's kind of my goal, to get this finished, and if everything continues onward, we should be able to make it. So we're coming close to that end, and yeah, I think that's going to be it. Again, if you enjoyed, definitely show some love, and if you're new to this channel, definitely subscribe. We got some awesome content coming down the road, including that review on those 3 awesome clone troopers. And yeah, that's going to be it. Hope you all enjoyed it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.